and girls, everybody in between and all over the world, we've got a continental classic clash between two long-standing club teams with rising youth movements within them. That's right, at the Elite Invite 2024 in this women's quarterfinal, it is Mooncup going up against Iceni. For my money, Lorcan Murray, commentating here in the booth with you. Those are the two best named teams in European Women's Ultimate. The tribe of Boudica trying to best the rising Belgian power. These teams they've come up against each other in many a form, both in the international stage and well at this club level. Mooncup not surprising people, I think that's fair to say, with their run EUCF last year. And Iceni, who used to be the established power, have been working hard to try and get back to the top of the mountain, but it's been a hard time so far. As we get straight into this action, there's a lot of people to pay attention to, a lot of fun to be had as you are with us here. UltiTV, Solid Sport, the EUF Elite Invite 2024. And an immediate slight pop and then catch, so that works out. You can see the zone being applied. Iceni in the black, Mooncup in the white. They've got that quick action. They don't mind playing in those small spaces, swinging it around. That's Carmen Lagala, tries to get the blade into the tough space. That's actually quite a hard throw. Maybe you'd want to force that back into the middle of the pitch instead. But Iceni can't take advantage. Immediately saying no to the deep shot. That was Julia Harris. Floating it back across so you can see Mooncup. They know how to swing, as there's the call to switch back to match defense. And an attempted leading pass, but too close to the defender. You see why they want to reset to Julia Harris as often as possible. Learned to play at the University of Virginia. It's previously played with Shout and Mooncatchers. Was on the Belgian women's team last year. As we see Iceni, the Brits, who want to fight back. Instead, for now, happy to work down the far sideline, just isolating cutters in the open channel. Trying to force that break. Couldn't get the swing all the way. So it's a lot of attacking the open channel. Huge defensive block. Incredible scenes. And you cannot give Mooncup that many opportunities. You can see jumps the lane, skips the shoulder, and takes flight. Big time D. We're going to come out of this replay and into the action. There's the pop over the top. That might be Eris Raymakers with the disc. So again, Iceni trying to clamp down with his zone. They've gotten a few turns out of it so far. Mooncup know their business. Nice scooper over the top. Big defensive pressure coming in. And now we skip ahead. There's another block downfield. Okay, things are jumping over a little bit right now. Here come Iceni. Far sideline. They want to get back into the middle of the pitch. They do so. But again, nobody attacking that break side in time with the swing. So they get the initial swing off the sideline. There it is. Okay, that worked out, clearly. Clearly that worked out. But the dump swing back into the middle space doesn't. And now they have to catch up. So, Mooncup, they've gotten all the way outside the end zone, somehow. Nice arcing pass around, and eventually that is well collected. That's Carmen Lagala picking it up. I think that might have been Lison Borno through the assist. I'm sorry, I'm not getting the best resolution on those. But look, let's talk about Carmen Lagala and Lison Borno for a quick second, regardless. Both of them quite young, 23. You'll hear that about a lot of Mooncup players. I think they have 2 players whose numbers start with the number 3, whose ages start with the number 3 even. Mooncup have been very impressive so far in this tournament. Carmen Legala has put on a performance. 8 goals, 8 assists coming into this matchup. Very impressive stuff. And then, of course, I think a lot of us are going to recognize the name Licen Borneau from her campaign. I might be getting that wrong, because normally she plays D-line for Mooncup, I believe. So I might be mixing up my names. You got to forgive the... it's a little bit difficult sometimes to tell through the resolution. But Mooncup, rising power, finished 5th. I think a lot of people in European Ultimate pointed to East Block as a rising power last year. Kind of expected them to make the semi-finals, maybe go a bit further. I think anybody really expected them to lose to Troubles in the quarterfinal. But then losing the 5th, 6th game to Mooncup, and that was a real battle of 2 young teams who want to start challenging for titles. And Mooncup have had some nice results in the pool stages, and coming to this quarterfinal, opening it up. There's a big shot from Iceni, looking all the way downfield. It's not going to find anybody. And maybe things aren't so bad. That was, Mooncup got the hold, and that's a nice shot. And a bit of toe dragging to keep that one from flagging. Nice work from Fiona Kwan. All right. Sang the praises a little bit of, picked out a couple of players from the Mooncup side. Let's talk about Iceni. Fiona Kwan brings a bit of veteran leadership to this Iceni team, the Iceni tribe, should we say. I've been trying to rebuild. I believe that looks like a timeout. Been trying to rebuild, like I said, 2010s for a lot of that. They were crazy dominant. They were basically the equivalent of what I think a lot more people more recently be familiar with Clapham. Like these 2 London-based club teams, open and women's division, just dominating. Really, really impressive stuff. Similarly done on their domestic side as well. A couple of teams rose up, started to knock them off. You know, you've got Shout, you've got Jinx, you've got even Bristol coming from their own country. Sick always kind of played the role of little sister, but, you know, push them, if and never getting them fully off the cliff, which is something that Bristol did achieve. And in response, Iceni was forced to look inward, and they've been on a rebuilding move for a couple of years now, still trying to find their feet. Fiona Kwan is such an important factor in that, bringing some of that leadership. Another big name you want to look out for them, Hannah Boddy. She's been great from this tournament so far. But here's the critical point. Still looking for their first win. Yes, Iceni are 0-3 right now coming out of the pool, playing the pool leaders in Mooncup. So 1-1, they're going to want to get some of these breaks. It's Mooncup trying to find the gaps in the zone. I've been told reliably that it's not that windy, so Mooncup just need to take their time. That's Rollet. We'll talk about her a bit more later as well. Julia Harris, take your time, maybe. I want to get this over with. Fantastic shot to the end zone for the score. So that's Legala again. Going to be looking out for that hat. Carmen Legala, 23 years old. Absolutely incredible talent. Of course, the assist from Julia Harris. Also more of an offensive cutter. Interesting decision. That is Salome Rollet. We'll save talking about her for a little bit later in the game. She's another fantastic player for this Mooncup side. Julia Harris won the EUCS with Shout in 2022. So if you're looking at the preeminent power, right, in Ultimate right now is, in the women's division in Ultimate right now, is Shout. Some people might point to Yaka, and they've certainly been brilliant. Actually enjoyed their own little period of dominance, I believe, after Iceni fell off. But Shout right now, they're the people you have to challenge, they're the people you have to beat. And last season, when Mooncup went on their run, you're looking at it, you think, there's a lot of pickups here. Like, the Bordeaux sisters, they always going to play with you. You picked up a couple extra people for EUCF, some couldn't make it over following the qualification. How much of that team is going to, Tarasen's another one, how much of that team is going to carry through to this season? But you can see they've brought back a lot of people. They've got some truly incredible young talent. And now they're trying to ratchet up the pressure on an Iceni side, also looking to rebuild. So all of these games count, all of them count towards EUCF. And both these teams harbour title ambitions in their 3-year plan, if not in the immediacy. Oh, that's a fantastic grab! Swing around the back. Really nice fundamentals. Open side, near side. And yeah, Mooncup also going with the force middle. So I saw that yesterday watching the mix game. I think it was disconnection going for the force middle, so it's very popular and able to get the turn out of it. So, works out for them in the end. A lot of pressure being put on. Staying on those pockets, forces the disc high, a lot of spin. It's going to bounce out. Lagala. Wait. That one was underthrown, not overthrown. Sorry, that was not Lagala, that was Rahali. Rahali picked it up. I don't know how Rahali was able to find somebody. This is first. That's unfortunate as well. Like, if that had been on target to the undercutter, then that's going to be a D. And a little confused why Leduc is calling a foul if your own team got it. But keep your eyes on Mayowen Leduc, okay? Maybe not your ears on me trying to pronounce their name, but keep your eyes on Leduc. Absolute force. And really showing out the team. Big at UCF last year, which I find very hard to believe, because apparently they're 16. Trying to get back to rally. Able to eventually. Again, this vert stack, it's a bit clumped downfield, but... And then the turn, you gotta give your dump handler more time than that. Fantastic grab, I don't know how she got her hands around that. There's the big hammer, all the way over the top back corner, perfectly weighted. And easily weighted for brilliant goal. An Iceni strike back. It's a little bit of liquid ultimate, if you ask me. So with the score, that was Hannah Leong. And the hammer from Hannah Thompson. First off, that catch from Hannah Thompson was incredible. And then the hammer across to Hannah Leong. There's a lot of Hannahs in British Ultimate. So Hannah Thompson, the hammer thrower there, 24. Rising power, inspired by Serena Williams. I mean, who isn't? Took a silver medal home from EUC last year while playing with the GB women's team on that great run, nearly gold. And Hannah Thompson, apparently 24, newly married, so her name is actually Sloan, but big shout out to Jordan Sloan cheering on from home. So that's a nice score from Iceni. I think everybody appreciates that math's not exactly my strong suit, so we're just going to have a quick look here. And yes, that is 2-2. Fair few turns happening either side. Right now, we're still on serve. It's Lison Borno to Legala for the first one. So Thompson to Leon. I believe that means it was Lison Borno who got that insane layout D as well. Oh, and there's the run-through block from Iceni. They're coming right back at them. All right, no wins be damned. Here we go. And nice recovery. Just about able to pull it off. Looking back into the middle. Duking, jiving. Isolating a handler on their own. And there's been a lot of bobbled discs bouncing out of hands. Like, that looked like a good throw from Barnes to me. Oh, nice little cheeky help out in the open space by Iceni. Big cuts under from Mooncup, just working as hard as they can. That's Legala. Big flick, floating it out there, but coming under a bit too soon. I'm referring to the disc there, not the receiver. So that's what happens when you throw a huck from when there's too big of a distance. You can only make up so much distance with your throw. You want your receiver running onto it. Just like that. Lovely swing to the break side. Gala closes the gap. And there's a shot into the middle. That was not an easy shot at all. Quick rotation. Yeah, it looks like Mooncup have committed to forcing middle. And if Iceni take their time, that should leave resets open. Bit of a conversation. Who do you think at home got to that first? Jelink? Honestly, I would have said at worst case scenario they caught that at the same time. Iceni rotating, shooting, scoring. That's a break. That is a big deal, everybody. Brilliant stuff. So that's the swing around. Fantastic cut to the back corner. Arc that bad boy over the defense. And collected for the break. It's a big time score for Iceni, going 3-2 up. I've alluded to this a few times, so I'll just talk you through it. A 15-11 loss to Jinx Midnight. Which I think, a lot of people would say, fair enough. Jinx, very strong team. A lot of talent on that team. Rising power in Germany. Definitely a team that has legitimate aspirations for the EUCS title. And of course, decent contingent of German European champions from last year on that team as well. They then lose 15-13 to Box Vienna. Now that's going to surprise some people. That will feel like a pretty big upset or a pretty big scalp to a lot of the Box players. I feel like Box and Iceni are, as evidenced by that scoreline, probably at a comparable level. Box, a product, of course, of the fantastic program in Vienna. It's generating so many great players, but also has such a wonderful community. It competes in a lot of different divisions under a lot of different names. And I think it's similar enough. You got a couple of veterans. You got some young people you're trying to bring up. The difference being, I think, Iceni's ceiling is a lot higher than Box, but just based on the last few years and the kind of new approach to Club Ultimate Iceni are going through, I'd say they're fairly comparable to Box Vienna. And then they lost 15-10 to Yaka, who are Yaka. So you can see Iceni, they may be 0-3, but they're putting up good shots against quality teams. And now 3-2 up on Mooncup. We're actually involved in a 3-way 2-1 tie and came out on top due to points difference. We'll talk about that later on. As right now, let's talk about the game a little bit. Let's talk about this zone Iceni are putting on and the nice leading pass coming out of the hands of De Haas. There's the big shot all the way down and comfortably collected in the end. Beatrice Lefebvre chasing it down. That looked a lot more like what we expected from Mooncup. Short handler passes and swings to get around the jaws of the zone. One pass to get into its navel, and then a deep shot to run all the way down to the toes. There you go, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. That's how you beat a zone. Mooncup showing it off perfectly. Just to make sure we give credit where credit is due, because the Iceni numbers are hard to pick out through this resolution. That was Catherine Rowland who threw to Lucy Cinnamond for the goal on the break side. So that big flick uncorked by Catherine Rowland. She is an environmental consultant, attended Durham and Leeds University, so a northerner. I didn't. Northern. There you go. That was a little bit closer to Northern English. She's a northerner. Played for Smog, naturally. Smog, that mixed team, came out of the north, a lot of great players. They've actually moved to London and played for them now, and also played for Leeds. So it's GV under 24. So Catherine Rowland. Brilliant shot, got that break. Mooncup responded though. Nice, consummate, professional. Playing through the zone. Most effectively they've done so all day. And then that final throw from Belpao was perfect. Lefebvre running on to the end of it. So now, Mooncup coming out. This is an arrowhead zone, so eases off. You can see the left and right of the person putting the force on. They take a step back. I have never respected the arrowhead zone. It's just a cut with extra steps. Now, there's the switch to Matt, and there's the turnover. The one thing I would say is the most effective moment in any zone, especially when there's no weather, is the chaos it creates in the transition. So if you can transition, or even fake a transition, stay in the zone, and fake another transition, The confusion it creates as everybody's running around, it leads to someone forcing a throw. And, okay, I would have called that throw maybe a little bit forced, but it worked out in the end. Koechlin, right outside the end zone, needs somebody to make a move for her. Eventually she gets one. It's the Raymakers. Mooncup back into the middle. Maxon. Is that one floating too much? It's bobbled off the outstretched hands. Unfortunate. So, Iceni spared some blushes despite the turnover right outside their end zone, wasting no time. They want to launch it deep. Really nicely chased down and collected by Eleanor Taylor. Call her Ellie so much. Eleanor Taylor, and there's the quick pop and shot for the finish. Nice completion, nice collection. Pat Pope picks it up with the score. Great body positioning by Ellie Taylor, chasing down that huck. See there, it's the disc in hand. So that's Pope pulling the defense, but then getting a little bit ignored by them. And when you're getting face marked right outside the end zone like that, I mean, you're in. It's not a good time anyway. So Iceni, goal line stand and force it all the way back down the pitch, ending with a nice hot catch by Taylor, pop to Hannah Thompson, who then finished into Cat Pope. And I love that running from behind a handler, getting the pop as you jump, so it carries your momentum past the first defender, or creates that separation, and then it's just an open side pass. Also, you got to be careful with the face marking. Oh, I understand it. In that situation, you got someone like Cat Pope. Cat Pope is very good. You kind of have to face mark to a certain extent, and then just try to body them. But, you know, Hannah Thompson's very good too. Going to get free. So Iceni, that's a hold. A little bit dirty, a little bit risky, but 4-3 up on Mooncup. You got to say they're happy with it. Not happy with the pull is... I would describe that scream of frustration as audible to the people at home. And people at home, let us know how you are doing, how you're enjoying this matchup. You having a good time? Is it worth it? I mean, it's a beautiful day pretty much all over the world. It's night in a good portion of the world, I suppose I should say. Nice swing off the end zone, or off the sideline by Rollet. Getting it all the way on the opposite sideline. So Mooncup, we know they can swing open side. We know they get a little bit dishy and dicey. The Hasp. Trying to force it back in, eventually gets it back. Nice high release backhand. That was a fantastic grab under oodles of pressure. And get it back into the middle. So Julia Harris, I mean, you're going to need to put a lot of pressure on her to get the disc back. This is just fundamentals right now. The Hasp. And fundamentally shut down. Fantastic defense by Iceni. I'm not sure who I can give credit to for the dump marking, but it's very impressive. Kind of left the Hasp on an island. She was forced to go with the high release pop to no avail. So Iceni with another chance for a break. They could go 5-3 up. That drop shot so effective. And there's the big hook, no hesitation. And I gotta tell you right there, Carmen Legala just got some blushes saved. That's a nice deep shot. Seemed to be perfectly thrown. Dropped a little frantically right at the end, but I think that was just a little lackadaisical by the Iceni D-line. You've got to convert those. So now here come Mooncup. Legala. That high release backhand break. Such a strong weapon. And the quick recycle, really nicely done. Gets into a power position, launches it, looking. It's going to take a hell of a play. Lefebvre. Hell of a player. It has to be said, but I think that would have been a bit beyond most of us. And that's just another fantastic play on the... So Mooncup get right outside the end zone. They try to pop it in. There's lots of pressure in the area. But Fiona Schluter just too strong, too big, too powerful. Attacks front corner and gets there. So Mooncup able to get the hold, and let's just have a little discussion about how Mooncup got to where they are today. That was Julia Harris, by the way, with the assist to Schluter. Mooncup won 2 of their games in their group, lost 1. They won on Universe against Jet Set Louvre, so able to take them on and win against their country rivals. And they were able to beat East Block. Now, here's where it gets interesting. East Block beat Shout 15-13 and beat Jet Set 15-10. So beat Shout and quite comfortably beat Jet Set. Shout beat Mooncup 15-11, so, you know, wasn't super close. And then Mooncup come out and just slam East Block into the ground. At that point, if you're East Block, you got to be thinking, we're going to top this group. Just got to beat Mooncup left. Mooncup turned it around and just ran the Czechs. It was really, really impressive stuff. And earned them top of their pool, which earned them the right to play against the bottom of the opposite pool. But at the Elite Invite, you're not going to find easy games. It's not the point of the tournament. I mean, if we're going to invite 8 teams, they're going to be 8 very, very good teams. As you can see, Iceni rushing right the way back. As the dump swing back into the middle. Kwan directing traffic from that central position. That was not an easy catch. Aurora Jonathan able to get low and collect. That might be body. Oh, but the shutdown defense, is that Tuluk who was able to jump in there and get the knock away? Fantastic stuff, I think it might have been. And Tuluk immediately cutting under into Akers' face and catching the high disc. Such an invaluable presence. I really think the dump cutting could use some work for both these teams. Rahali launches deep, looking for Tuluk one more time, and it's bobbled but collected on the second asking. That's the Mooncup break. That's the power of the young star Maiwen Jaluk, and that is the experience of that leader, Sarah Rahali, originally from Waterloo. Well, with shots like that, you can understand how the Duke of Wellington won the war. Fantastic play. So Sarah Rahali started in high school, looked for a team and started playing. She's played with Skywalkers, Coyotes, and Dulcineas, as well as Mooncatchers. And obviously played on the Belgian 24 women and Belgian mix in 2020, and then Belgian mix last year. Actually played EUCF with Mooncup last year as well. So lots of local talent to go alongside maybe some of what you would consider imported talent. I don't know, if you're French and you play for Belgium, that hardly seems like an import, and it's the same as if you're from Hong Kong and you play in London. It's just natural. There are these connections that bring people together, and it's about something I think both these clubs really epitomize, is how they build towards the future, and that's something they're really trying to do. And maybe this is the season one of them makes that jump to the top. We will find out that and plenty more when we return after this break.
Yes, he will. The lovely day.
Welcome back, everybody. The action is high flying. The stakes are rising with every passing point, and I am Lorca Murray here to guide you through this fantastic, exciting matchup that we have as Mooncup are taking on Iceni here in the quarterfinals of the Spring Invite, the Elite Invite in Leuven. It's Iceni with the disc. They did start the game on defense, although an early break, so they'll go 3-2 up. But Mooncup just responded with a hold and a break themselves, a break score. So they're now 5-4 up, a little bit of contact on the mark, but immediately discussed, and I think that's agreed to. Iceni. I mean, there's been a lot of getting people into power positions quite effectively. Some of it out of dump cutting, some of it out of undercutting, but then I'd say half and half on these deep shots. Both teams, I mean. A few of them are coming out undercut. That's a lot of distance to try and make up for a deep shot in a narrow channel as well. So that's always going to be incredibly hard. You got to sit it over them almost, let it float for them to run onto. The second thing I would say is I would like to see both teams improve their dump cutting, because they keep putting their handlers in some tough positions just like that and getting into an awful lot of trouble. Fiona Kwan sniffs it out, steals it back, and now Iceni right on the edge of the end zone. Happy to swing back and forth, clear out some space, try and set up a 2-5 look. A lot of movement in the short space, all to the break side. And they're following it off, but lovely little bit of play. Nicely brought in. I think the assist there goes to Kat Pope. Let's just talk about 3 people in a row making cuts to the flick break side. All for that talismanic player, Hannah Body. I mean, you can see why she's racking up assists, one of the stat leaders coming into this game for Iceni, and there are 3 cuts in a row, all to the flick break side. That's a statement of faith, if ever I've heard one. And of course, very nicely finished off. Like that backhand is still technically another break throw, but I mean, all the hard work's already been done by your legs and Body's throw, so all you have to really do is finish it off with a quick pop in for the score, and you get to hold it 5-5. Both teams have brought out zones so far, and they've worked to an extent. I think the real thing both teams can sharpen up on right now is offense. So let's see how Mooncup do. And Iceni coming out, Arrowhead zone of their own. Like I said, I don't really respect this zone too much. I don't mind a wall, but I suppose they're all really the same zone, aren't they? They've gone halfway. There's the call to meld. I like that. A whole sideline screaming meld. They go to the match marking. Mooncup keep working with the short game as well. Looking comfortable and relatively in control. Borno back to the middle of the pitch. Initial swing shut off. Schluter sends it and goes again, wants it back, but is able to. Schluter, fortunate, shall we say. That's another middling to poor cut. Schluter dumps it back. Belpel down the line. That's well taken in. Harris, the American-born talisman and leader for them. Back to Borno. Borno's across the relay. It's a really strong Mooncup O-line. They start to break it down, and I think they'd finishing this off. This is nice continuation play. Good backhand break over the fake over the shoulder, and then taking it in. Gala with the score. That was Julia Harris at the finish. So yeah, when you start breaking it down like Borno, Harris, Schluter, Rollet, the Gala, like quality line that you can throw out there for the offensive side. And then they've got plenty of talent that they kind of hold. Maïwen Leduc, and maybe in this game, maybe generally, Rahali as well. Rahali, the defensive handler, Leduc, the defensive cutter. So those are 2 big powers that they could switch over to the O-line for some, some 13-13. Feck it, we need a score now. We need a hold those situations, or 13-13, it's a break, or 13-13, we were down 13-11. Get somebody else out here. We can't keep giving up these break scores, or you know the kind of situations I'm talking about. Those squeaky bum time, as Sir Alex Ferguson of Man United used to say. You need a strong seven. You need to be able to just grab your best seven players, and Mooncup have seven very, very good players. And then another seven good players, you know? So, see what they do against East Block. You see they're not infallible. That loss to Shout shows there's still work to do. But if you were to talk to this team last year, they were happy to get to EUCS. If you were to talk to them this year, I think they'll be disappointed not to medal. We really are blessed with quite a deep women's division in the past year or two. As we see Iceni looking to reawaken that Celtic fury and establish the Gallic greatness that ran rampant over Europe for so long. A little bit of coverage, a little bit of contact, but no worries about it. That was, might be a bit of discussion, I think. Ali's saying her mark got a bit too far ahead of her. Well, that was fantastic offense by Iceni. Shimmy shake, tries to get down the line. You gotta put more into it than that. Quan, disc in hand, tries to lead, can't get there in time. And part of that is because you have to put it into the path of your receiver. Like, you throw that. That's actually a really good cut. The duck was baited into jumping to try and put themselves on the break side of the throw. As there's a big arcing pass to absolutely nobody in a white jersey. So giving that one up, Iceni. See, and those are the kind of... Oh! That was ambitious. Probably could have been run down. We're going to have another look at it. Scuba that. Ireland's backhand. Yeah. Sometimes when the adrenaline's pumping, you wind up diving and closing the gap sooner than you expected. It's very embarrassing and something that's happened to me a lot more than it's ever happened to anybody who's being streamed right now. So Mooncup with a chance to break and really push this out. That was not an easy catch. Really nicely done. Sits in, shoots under, chase down, fantastic grab. Howard Diop somehow able to get the cuticles around the corners. Bring that disc in, pops it back to Hasp. Hasp doesn't want the backhand or the backhand break. Wants to look in the end zone. I really thought Luke was going to tear that down. Okay. So still things to learn. I mean, understandable. Okay, Quan tries to lead again, and another overcooked flick. Those flick leading passes are very difficult. Her dunk cutters aren't making it easier for her. So Mooncup, the Laymakers. Another rising young talent, but couldn't connect on that throw. Good pressure by the Iceni defense. 6-5, just about halfway in terms of time. Similar enough in terms of score. Iceni working that open side, but these shots just taking too tight an angle at times. Rally. It's inside, sends that one a little bit high, but a little bit perfect too. Rising into the chest. Teachers take note. There's the Hasp, and that was unexpected, is what that was. Because now Iceni. Would you consider this inside the red zone, chat? It's kind of like once you're inside your opponent's brick mark, right? Once you're inside your opponent's brick mark. Quan breaks. Can't connect. So, a bit of fatigue setting in now. It could happen. Ali. Oh, and there's a timeout. I gotta tell you, I respect that move. There's been a lot of turnovers back and forth on this point. If Mooncup can score it, that is a big 2-point lead, very close to half time. So plenty to play for, and a big opportunity for the ladies in white when we return. Mooncup 6, Iceni 5.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that helped to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
This is their D-line out there. It's noted by Rahali. Sporting the golf cap, immediately launches the blade over the top. Brilliantly done and well taken in. So they continue to work down. That's how Dia got the grab. Back to Deluck. Rahali back in the field. They're near in the middle. Again, a lot of these cuts are happening so close. They're asking their left-handers to take on difficult break throws. This was probably part of their strategy, really. Goes to Haas. There's a shot looking for the Haas, maybe, but I mean, you're only going to find Iceni down there. Sure, who got that D? So is there O-line still? Trying to find gaps, trying to find hope more than anything else. Come on, Pops, you're just getting closer and closer to that dangerous corner. Fantastic defensive switch. Really impressive defense work by Brenda Haas to shut down Quan on the inside throw. Very Makers does a good job there. Mooncup are really shepherding these down cuts to the open channel as much as they can. Raleigh taking her sweet time to close that gap. There's the inside flick break. That's going to be available if you're forcing middle. Harley's backhand. This one works out. Last one wasn't so successful. Come on. Back to Quan. Nice quick reset, and they're taking off again. That's how you make it easy. And there's the swing over and around. Nicely done. That's an offensive hold, to be clear, but really great stuff. Really great stuff by Iceni. An impressive response. You're under a lot of pressure. You can see here Quan really dictating the flow, directing traffic. And then once you can get into that initial space, you can strike around the defense. I mean, there was nothing how Theo could do but watch his tail past her. So that was Hannah Thompson to Yancing Gill. As we have another timeout, Iceni were able to... Oh no, that was a timeout a little while ago during that point. They're just setting up their life right now. It's great work by Hannah Thompson finding Yasmin Gill for the break throw. Yasmin Gill, 25. Another one of those rising talents for Iceni that they're trying to really shape. Learn to play up Newcastle. I know I'm commentating on a game between Belgians and Londoners. Belgians and Londoners. I should probably be more specific on the Belgian side. But my point is I'm making a lot of more attempted Northern English accents. So I think it's only fair I try Flemish in a little while or something. Anyway. Yasmin Gill also played the GB Mixed Beach. Got the score. So now, slightly different zone look, and you can maybe hear, listen. The Iceni sideline is calling out every pass. Listen. Mooncup respond by getting quick passes together. Legala leads, finds a space. That's fantastic, using your legs to run past the jaws of the zone. Then using your throws to ram it down their throat. And there's the quick pass to Legala. Professional by Mooncup. Nice try by Iceni. Maybe look for something else. Gotta give a lot of credit to Legala. She instrumental. I think it was basically a 1-2 really to finish it, covering half the pitch, but it was the whole team with their cycling, dishing the disc around between different handlers. And we've seen Mooncup do that all game long. Seen them have a few execution errors at times. Gala teamed up with Julia Harris. I mean, those are two players you're going to want a lot from this season if you are Mooncup. As oh, it seems like I must have willed a timeout into existence. Understandable given that half is at 8. Will Iceni be able to take it? Will Mooncup press their advantage? All remains to be seen. Mooncup 7, Iceni 6.
Get there. Yes, he will. The lovely did. Come on, Brad.
We are back, everybody. Are you having a good time? I know I am. It's been a lovely, sunny, midday morning affair. Depending on where you are, your time zone in Europe. Or even around the world. You joining us from further afield? Let us know in the comments. You're watching two great European club teams battle it out right now. Mooncup of Belgium, Iceni of Great Britain, taking each other on. Mooncup started the game on offense, which means that if they can get a break here, they get a free hold. Wait, am I wrong with that? No, I'm right. Mooncup started on offense. So they're still in the driver's seat and still on serve. It's been 2 breaks in this game. Iceni got the first one, but Mooncup got it back. So retaining their advantage. Iceni need this hold. Well, I believe it was Mooncup who called the timeout. So really try to use them all in that half. Some good dump swing. Mooncup didn't mess around with his own this time. He's going straight into that match defense. Person to person. Body to body. Let's see if they can pull something out. But again, it's the errant break throw. I think very unlike body, but it goes out. And there's the big puck. Mooncup aren't afraid to stretch it out. Shooting all the way down the field. Somehow that winds on that side. I assume that's to ask. Been big for this D-line. There's the puck back. Somebody, somewhere, get free. Nice, low down collection. Swing again. So Mooncup do a good job of reshaping themselves after the collection into 2-5. Not really forcing anything either. That's a big swing all the way across. Lazarus gets low, rises up to collect it, back to Borno. Borno steps it into the middle. Moncau floats that a bit high, but absolutely perfectly waiting for it to look. And then down the line to Moncau for the score! Fantastic work by Mooncup. With a little bit of a specific strong line stepping out there to get a big time break to take half. Lazarus got involved. Leduc, I forget that's Leduc actually there. Sorry, that's Leduc with this in hand. Only 16 years old. That's crazy. Of course, Isa Moncao, who had the first throw out and then collected it, probably recognized that name from her great success experience with Groot in the mixed division. But when they went single gender, Moncao went to Belgium. Selection, and then it involved a hop, it involved some dump swinging, it involved setting up and resetting, and then finally a little 1-2 play to get the score. Just about every positive, all without a turnover, by the way. Every positive thing you could say about an offense just played by that Mooncup D-line. They mean business. Let's see what Iceni need to do to respond in kind, as they are 8-6 down. And that's not half, apparently. I'm sorry? Oh, halftime is 7-6. Fair enough. So it wasn't a half. It wasn't actually a timeout they called. It was halftime. And then they came out and executed perfectly on the other side to push their lead out to 8-6. So Iceni need to start battling their way back into this game and start with a center to quad. They're going to start offense, really. Down the line. Scoop, double pressure. I don't think either of them were actually there, but they were close enough to dissuade the play. Absolutely nobody cutting for a while, and then eventually a cut comes, but it's going to be viewed as a pick. And it's pretty much just a drop. It's the cut down the line. That is a great cut. Better throw, though. Not easy. Big shot straight away. Goes all the way down to the opposite sideline. Well collected by Diop. Really great read by Diop from the shot from Borno. Now it goes back to the hat. That's into middle. Raymakers leads, collected, fantastic scenes. Lisa Borno making it look easy. Don't leave Iris hanging. Oh, it was a brilliant throw by Iris. There's the collection by the other team members. So here it is. That's the flow of Iceni, able to get some turns. They're now pushing their lead out to 9-6. Gotta believe they'll be hoping to send that a little bit further. So another brick. Back, everybody. I'm very sorry if you can see my face. That's not how this is supposed to work. That might just be a consequence of my screen. As you can see there from the score, Iceni found themselves a little bit and have fought their way back into this matchup. As I say that, they immediately turn it over, which is why I should stop saying things. I think we can all agree on that. There's 10-8. You can see a little bit of exhaustion. While we were gone, clearly some things went down. Nothing but respect for the effort they're putting in. That looked like a long one. Forgive us. We had a little bit of internet problems. So when we closed it down, it was just after Raymaker's brilliant shot to Lisson Borno. A little leading pass. That was a break. You can see this is a deep shot. Such a huge effort. I assume that's Lisson Borno again. Might not be, actually. And here, I thought this was going to be the leading pass. Nice setup, dump cut, plenty of space. Just a bit too far. Oh, it's the great help defense, actually. Stepping in and knocking that one down. So that's a fantastic block by Belpel. Oh, forgive me. Oh, no, I was right. That is Maria Belper getting the block, getting the assist, and throwing it to Pauline De Hasp. De Hasp, such a leader, in my opinion anyway, just certainly a very good player for this Cup team. Rory plays on the D-line side, stepping over to play offense. So now Iceni. They don't want to let it go. They've earned the break back. That's a huge shot all the way down, chasing it. That felt like a professional decision on the part of Maya Aurora Johnson, and I gotta tell you, I agree. You like to sit down, big shot. Just a teensy bit too far. Now Iceni back on the defense with their O-line. This has happened a lot to them in this game. Legala. Far sideline. Back into the middle. Again. It's Rollet. Sorry, that was Rollet who threw that pass. Rollet. Juking, jiving. Again, that's asking a lot of the thrower. You gotta commit to more of these cuts. I think, anyway. Rollet gets that across. And big shot all the way to the end zone. Couldn't quite make out who it was throwing that to Bourneau. If I was to take a guess, I'd say it was Mooncup. Oh. Great catch by Bourneau. Hoping that, certainly hoping that Hasp has been able to get her breath back. Let's get back out there. That is a big time response break by the Belgians. Just when Iceni were starting to fight their way back into it, thanks to some great work by Taylor, Chang, Ling Wu, and Melvin Teng showing off their GB experience. Well, I believe Ling Wu was on the women's and Melvin Teng was on the mixed, but still international experience and help them get that break back. But Mooncup push it out again and lock themselves into a 3-point lead as it is Mooncup 11, Iceni 8.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
Oh my, somehow they do it!
I'm really enjoying the sideline chanting. I think it's a huge part of team defense. And it starts from the pull, it carries on through the whole possession, the chanting the numbers of each completion on the zone, things like that. I'm a big fan of psychological warfare. That's an awful lot of space. Iceni immediately blowing up the crafty construction of the Belgian defense. Swinging that one around a bit too far around and slammed down with authority, and off to the races. Somebody go catch Lazarus. It's coming right back under. That's a nice clamp, really well executed by Iceni. Just those circumstantial clamps, contextual clamps, if you will. Big grab. It's back across. Leduc. He's putting that one a bit too far outside of the fingers of their extended receiver. So Iceni gained some yards on the turn in the end. Back to Quan. See, I don't like that sit on the far right. I don't like just sitting in that space. And it clogs it up as they force Iceni to dip the other side. And now there's the shot over, but just a bit too high. I mean, I think that's the right look to a running receiver, right? But to a stationary one, it's always going to be a bit tough. It was a nice move. The duck just caught napping. Yeah, if you put any more throw on that, I think the duck would have got in and blocked it away. Saves some blushes. If anything, I mean, you throw the disc away, you then get beaten to the opposite sideline for the score. That's a hard thing to live down. You know, the younger players maybe don't have the same mental fortitude as some of the older ones. But right now, Mooncup have it back. So it's all hypothetical. Look at that backhand break. I would classify that as impressive, though unnecessary. Let's have another look. Why are you throwing it between those two defenders? Somebody make that easier for her and just cut up the line. They're taking on some hard throws. Both teams are taking on some really hard throws that I feel like their cutters can make a lot easier for them. Sit into it. That's it. Power position. Leading pass Huck. Brilliantly collected. Howard Giop. Never a drop of anything but blood when this young person is on the pitch. And there's the smart pop-off. Not trying to take on anything too adventurous. Gets it back to Borno. Knows where her bread is buttered. Attacks the corner again. All right, now get out of there, Diop. Nice leading pass. Borno pops it over to Maxon. Maxon somehow gets it, then swings it around. That's going to be completed. Perrine de Hasp. Wasn't sure if she was in. She had no doubt about it. That was fantastic offense by Mooncup. I talked some smack. I did. I do that. Fantastic offense involving so many people. Some hard throws, some well set up shots. That, I mean, that's going to be tough for the Iceni defense. You can see Hannah Leong just... if I just reacted a little bit quicker, I could have got that. That's a terrible feeling. Not an easy catch by Maxon. I think both these teams could benefit from adding like an extra meter to their dump cuts. But remains to be seen. That is a 3-point run. That's how you respond to a break, to giving up a break, is with a 3-point run. So it was 8-6 to start, or 7-6. No, 7-6 at half. 2 points from Mooncup, 2 points by Iceni, 3 points by Mooncup. Now we're at 12-8. Very much in the driver's seat now. If you would like, I'll take you on a little bit of a tour of the other bracket games in the women's division, let you know how they're going down. Yaka slapped East Block back to their side of the continent, 15-8. BFD Shout handled their business against Box Vienna, 15-9. Jet Set, Louvre, and Jinx Midnight haven't started playing yet. So, gotta tell you, apart from Mooncup, it's it's pretty evenly balanced so far. Is that a turnover? That is a turnover. That is desperate for Iceni. That's the kind of heartbreak you see. That's going to be an injury call. Oh, these games swing. These games swing awfully fast, don't they? But just through the hands. I gotta tell you, to me, that seems like one of those... You were thinking about the throw before you finished getting a catch kind of moments. Mooncup, you need to show your professionalism here. You need to show that you can finish off games when you're in these commanding positions, not let teams back into them. Score here. No, yeah, I think there's an agreement. a lot of the players were behind the action. Thing is, by the time the injury was called, unless maybe they called it earlier and we didn't hear or notice in time, but like when the injury was actually called, you see, well, that's an interesting little swap. Sorry, I didn't catch who came off, but that is Maria Belper coming on. Largely it's academic though. Leduc gets big and gets it down. Really nicely done. Does anybody know the demonym for Brussels? Brazilian? That's a great throw. They've got a lot of faith in their receiver, understandable, 183 centimeters tall. So much talent. Been playing for 2 years. Tall, athletic, left-handed offensive cutter. That's what you want, right? Played in the EUCS 2023, played in EUCS 2024. But want to make sure we give a big shout out to their little brother, Joachim Leduc, who is starting Ultimate 1 year ago, and he would love to become strong like Mywin. You know, you got to keep putting that work in, and maybe one day we'll be talking about you on these streams, eh? Always great to have more people joining the big Ultimate family. Again, not an old side. Neither of these teams are old, but Mooncup, a rising power. There's the throw coming from the veteran Rollet. I say veteran because she's 20. So Leduc, as we see Iceni working their way through. That's a big scooping backhand. Centre back into the middle. One swings it over. Back across. Nice little bit of dumping, nice attacking the break side. On the backhand, it's easier to get those throws right. A few of those on the flick side have been turnovers in the end. This is really great work, though. A lot from the handler space. Good cut down the line, and Liang took a lot of that game on. That's Madeline Liang. She's impressive for GB on their campaign to silver. She's impressive for this Iceni team. Now this is a dump cut. Leduc, you might be athletic, but you're gonna have to learn how to be crafty. That comes with experience. The stutter stop, just planting Leduc in the ground. So for all of the praise we give the young player, and they are deserving of it, you gotta come up against a wily veteran every now and again. Madeline Rose Liang. I say wily veteran, again, 22, but has been playing for 7 years. So I'm gonna give a big shout out to the King's College London, the KCL Throne team, who assume we're all watching. Can I say, for a university called King's College, calling your team Throne, phenomenal. It's been a great day for great names. I love good names. Where you're supposed to have puns in your name, or else some cool little reference or something like that. Like Mooncatchers is like pretty cool. Mooncup is phenomenal. Iceni it's pretty badass. Old Celtic tribe tried to rise up against the Romans. They were not successful. Let's see how they try to rise up against the Belgians. Rollet with the big flick over the top. So Rollet doing a bit of double duty. Oh, that's fantastic. Quick popping. Getting into the power position, but they don't have to force the deep shot against this zone. They just have to keep using it to pull the zone apart. That's Harris. And the handler's doing a good job. They attract all the attention towards it, and then leaving it for... Oh, great covering defense. I was already writing the obituary on Jelink. Legala's taking that one down, bringing them within 1 point. This thing's over. And I gotta tell you, Tessa Jelink had other ideas. Big pressure. And not allowing Carmen Legala the time to ease that one up, and then immediately brilliant run through block. Sorry, I didn't catch that quite in time. I was too busy talking about the block. There's the leading pass, and that's immediately intercepted. So, not the best from Rollet. We're going back and forth right now. This way and that way. See if the English can channel Some nice offense in response. It's going low all the time. I am a long-standing member of the if it reaches your foot, you could have caught it club. If you can kick it, you can catch it. There's going to be discussion. Has that been stomped? Probably has. Legala. That's an almost immediate turnover. Time is just gone. So if Iceni score this, it's a game to 14. There's the pop. Too much over the top. These leading dump passes, the defense does such a good job of sniffing them out. They're requiring really difficult, really precise throws. And we just haven't seen a lot of those throws. That's a fantastic deep shot. Straight out of the hands. That's going all the way down to Legala. It was Roulet who sent it. Brilliant deep shot. And now looking again for Legala. And again, not an easy throw. They're trying to throw around defenders rather than telling their cutters, here, could you get a bit of separation from your defender? Could you lose them with your fake? And then I'm just throwing to an open person rather than just asking so much of their throwers. In these calm conditions, and honestly, that's a catch I expect her to make, but it's not an easy one. I think I expect a lot from these teams. Remember, time has gone. So whichever team scores next. There's a lot of zip. It's tough. It's tough. That's one. Nice quick play, and that's something that Mooncup do so well. Throw and attack. As you can see here, cut being put on them. That's cross. Or no. Nice resetting. Recycling even. So Roulet to Legala. They're wearing matching hats, and I'm going to be honest, with this resolution, that's kind of the only thing I have to go by. Nicely pop back into Belper. Belper sets up Harris right on the end zone. Harris is being forced back, gets it to Belper. Belper tries to continue the swing. Oh, there is somebody there. I wasn't quite sure. Lefebvre. Once Belper. Belper unavailable. And there's the big flick over the top. It hasn't really worked this game, but they keep doing it. I think it's not bad throws, okay? It's great defense that demands exquisite throws. That was a bad throw. But for the most part, it's not bad throws. It's really smart, really reactive defense. Roulet. As Belper in the dump position. Doesn't want anything but Legala and wants to throw her a flick blade. Yes, that time it worked, and the Iceni help defense just didn't quite turn around in time. So, keep doing it, I suppose. Just like a bit more variety, I think, would be nice. But, look, what do I know? They're 14-9 up. I think the thing with Mooncup is I'm grading them by their chance to win gold. And right here, okay, Roulet Legala. Give me your best thrower, give me your best handler available right now, and just work something out between the two of them. Slightly windier conditions, that's getting D'd up, you know? I'd like to see a bit more faking from the Mooncup cutters. Because when their offense is in motion, like when they're doing the quick give and go and 4 players touch it within 5 seconds, they are shredding defenses. But then when they stagnate, they're very much relying, it seems, on thrower ability to get them out of those situations, and just a bit more effort on the cutter's part. And you can make some of those shots go from 80 to 95% opportunities. But just in case, because I know sometimes Brazilians have taken umbrage with my criticisms on stream, I'm grading them by the gold standard. Perhaps a little bit prematurely, but that's the standard I'm holding to. And Iceni, I think Mooncup want to announce themselves as being in the elite rung, and Iceni are still trying to get back there. And 14-9 seems about right. Quad centers it. That's a nice backhand leading pass. High release, and Iceni just going straight down the middle. But remember, Mooncup are trying to force middle as much as they can. That's been a pretty consistent element of their match defense. Nice break. Using one cut to pull the defensive attention through the middle, and then that's a pop to the front corner for the score. So something that was really effectively done against... Oh, it's going to be a bit of discussion. Did they think Cat Pope was in bounds? Oh, somebody's going to need to get free for her. And somebody does. I believe that was Madeleine Rose Leong again. Indeed it was. Nicely done. So Madeleine Rose Leong showing off that expertise, that experience, getting the big time score. Pope on the end zone. I don't love having two dump defenders that close to you. Oh, I suppose it was an out call, wasn't it? So yeah, immediately you can see Yasmin Gill making the right decision and clearing through. So maybe I should shut up. 14-10. Mooncup to Iceni in the commanding lead. Just to briefly go through the story of this game, it's been close the whole way. Iceni went 3-2 up, looking quite tight. There was a lot of turnovers early on as well, some really long points. But Iceni stole the advantage at the start. They traded again, then Mooncup took it right back to go 5-4. They traded out until half, 7-6. Mooncup were on hold. The second half, very different affair. It goes 2-2-4. So Mooncup come out, score 2 breaks in a row. So remember, they started the second half on defense. 2 breaks in a row. Leduc finding Moncao, Raymakers finding Borneau, that lovely little backhand leading pass, if you remember. We experienced brief technical difficulties, during which Iceni launched a bit of a comeback, Taylor finding Xiang for the hold, and then Ling Wu connecting with Melvin Teng for the break. Then 4 points by Mooncup, and a response by Iceni. And we're at 14-10. Mooncup with the disc. That Iceni sideline, raising their voices again. Legala wants the flick, leading, trying to find space. Pressure does enough to dissuade. Bounce out of the hands, Lefebvre. I'm going to give that one to the defensive pressure on the part of Fibitio. Is that? Yeah, that's Fibitio. Fibitio, originally from Singapore, current city is London. That's going to get called back, is a master's student. And Jamie Erickson, for her relentless grind, is her sporting hero. Being real and authentic about the ups and downs of Ultimate, even on social media. Another interesting fact, she listed the city of Reading. So, no, Reading. Again, never name your city after a Garund. As here come, I see that's a fantastic grab. So much zip on that disc. They having to climb a ladder and pluck it down. Leading pass, centers into the middle instead. I like that look. I would go as far as to say I much prefer it. And there's the setup, power position into the hook. Trust your receiver. Ooh. That was almost incredible. I mean, Roulet got the touch, but that was nearly still saved anyway. For options. Oodles of space. Mooncup want to bring this game to a close. 15-10. Can they do it? Looking for just about anything. Belper for the goal. I believe Maria Belper. She's in. She's in. Nice little pop from Julia Harris. And well taken in by Marie Belper. Really came alive in the second half. This 22 years old, Belper, offensive handler. Plays moon catchers. career highlight. And a few Mooncatchers have put this down, which is what I think makes it interesting. A few of them have put down EUCF 2023 as their highlight, career highlight. It was in Ghent. Oh no, they won EUCR in Ghent, yeah, and then they came 5th in EUCF. And I think that's the biggest season for the Mooncup women's team, and it means so much to so many of these young players that I think they're grading themselves by the gold standard too, and they should be. Which is why when I point to certain things I like to see them change, that's what we're talking about. But right now, you gotta say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 15-10 winners over Iceni. Iceni still looking for their first win at this tournament. They put it up to some great teams, and right now they've just come up lacking at the end. But still plenty to play for, still plenty to see for them and for everybody else this tournament. We are going to have a game off on this field for the next one, because our wonderful crew needs a bit of a rest every now and again. But we've got 3 more games of action, which includes Tartu Turbulence taking on Nullocht in the mixed division, and the open and women's semis later on in the day too. That's another look. That was the... Oh, okay. That's where the feed cut out. That was an insane throw. I think by Thompson? That was absolutely incredible. We cut out, we didn't get a full look at that, so it's nice to have another look at it. And it was great to have a look at this game at all. Thank you so much for joining us on behalf of myself, OTTV, Solid Sport, the EUF, everybody in Leuven, and everybody else who loves Ultimate. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Same catch time, same catch channel.